changed the lighting, and of course when you start putting sound blankets up everywhere and everything, it does change the way the place feels. So it just kind of calms everything down.
And in fairness, that does sound different now. You've put that up.
It does, doesn't it?
I was like, God, I don't want to go away and hear things wrong like this all the time now.
Yeah, that's what you end up living with.
Yeah.
Is that, like, you go, I can't.
You must have had years of this in music. Like,
I've got terrible prejudices. Like, there's certain restaurants I can't eat in because I don't like the font that they use for the menu.
Oh, I love this.
I can't eat there.
Yeah,
like,
we are the same people. I love this.
I can't eat there. The fucking font's awful.
I love
How can you do that? There's certain movies I just can't watch because I hate the way they're edited, because the cutting annoys the shit out of me. Okay. Like, I watched The Irishman. It's a 3-hour movie, and there is an absolutely dreadful cut towards the end of the film.
So that ruins the whole film.
Ruined the whole fucking movie. I'm like, what? Like, and it's one of those things when you show it everyone, I go, look, this is a completely pointless cut. And they go, fuck, you're absolutely right.
But you wouldn't spot it unless
you were doing this daft shit all the time. But then Karen said to me the other day, because she's like, I don't pay any attention to any of this bullshit that he gets into. She said, I think they've got a new director of photography on Coronation Street. I went, what do you mean? She went, I've noticed a few more camera angles now. There's a few and I'm watching it going, oh, the guy obviously likes to film from behind things because he's got like blurred flowers and he's shooting the shot from behind.
Who knew Coronation Street got that clever, eh?
Well, Karen knows Coronation Street intimately.
I always get annoyed at the colours of films. It used to really annoy me that almost every film is blue and orange.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely hate that.
Every
and no one would see
film.
it.
Yeah.
You tell people and they go, where's the orange? And you're like, the skin.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's really clever, isn't it? You know?
The YouTube annoys me because the YouTube look is loads and loads of white lights at the front, loads of blue and pink LEDs everywhere behind you.
But YouTube is everyone just copying each other, though, isn't it?
Well, it's
like basing their style on someone else who they think is successful.
It's part of the shittification of everything we're living in.
Yeah, it is.
You know that shittification is like a term that it means platform decay.
Right.
So that what happens is everybody heralds the dawn of the democratization of content creation as this great new thing. But what it means is that everybody's becoming more vanilla.
And
everything
now
becomes more boring.
We shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Some people shouldn't be allowed to create content. I mean, I think some people would argue that I shouldn't be allowed, you know, but if that meant that all the other content was going to be loads better and proper movie directors were going to be the only people, real musicians were going to be the only people, I'd pack my computers up and go away.
But you don't think that's everywhere, though? Everything's a bit more vanilla. Like, everyone wants to be like everyone else now.
But it's the same people teaching. So you've got the same people that can get clicks and likes from teaching you to do the thing, but they learned that from somebody who was doing it for clicks and likes. So the teaching is a facts of a facts of a facts of a facts.
Right. Rather than someone just doing something because it felt like that was the real thing.
It's just a race. It's just a race to the bottom. That's all. And that's happening in every creative art form.
Sure.
Like, you look at music is becoming a race to the bottom. You can argue that music is potentially could be a lot more interesting. But a lot has got to happen in that art form before it becomes potentially more interesting. Because at the moment, it's just whatever can we put out really quick. I mean, you've got artists now that are making 15-second songs because that's what works on TikTok. I mean,
we're using the word artist quite liberally there, aren't we?
I mean, I think technically, if we're living in a post-truth, post-modern world, everybody's an artist and everybody's a critic.
Yeah.
If we're all critics, then we can all decide what we think art is and isn't, can't we? We can go, no, that's not fucking art.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's art. Yeah, but I can say everything isn't art then with the same validity that you can say everything is art. Yeah. Where's the subjective truth in that, right? Or the objective truth rather than everything is subjective? Up is up, down is down, the sky is blue, grass is green. They are objective truths. Doesn't matter what you fucking feel like.
But you can argue it.
Yeah.
That's what makes it art now, right? You can just argue your point.
But
Leanne would almost agree with that, though. And she's an art student, very...
But she'd argue in favour of abstraction.
She'd argue in favour that everything's art and that everyone is kind of an artist.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is probably true. I just know my feelings are a bit more like all it is to me is the meeting point of your craft and your ideas or your expression. So impression and expression, where they meet.
For me, I don't think we're the people that decide. I don't think we decide whether, I can't announce that I'm an artist in anything. Right. What happens is that you make this thing that could be considered art, and the trick is a bit like being a musician. You can call yourself a musician or a rock star, but realistically, you're not one until you sold 100 million records, and then you are one because everybody else went, you said you're an artist and a musician. We agree. And it's about everybody else decides what you do. We put our work out there for people to enjoy, right? But if nobody enjoys it, then it's not art. It's just rubbish. It's as simple as that. If we're going to go with what is
it though? Is that the definition that people enjoy it?
What if that's the current world that we live in? That's got to be the current definition. If everybody's a critic and everything is subjective,
I make stuff, and if it feels like that was real,
it's real.
That's art to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even care if I like it or not.
Yeah,
as long as I feel like, wow, I just made a real thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter if I like it.
But that's why the modern world is rubbish. Yeah. Because you should be able to at some point go, no, that's not art. Because some stuff is, because you've got to have some kind of identifier. Right? Somebody's at the door. No, just leave it running.
What's the program you used to do that? Was it like something with what's in it, grot bags or whatever?
Grot bags in?
Yeah, like something like that.
There's someone at the door. It's a special guest. We've brought in. This is the bit where I produce a big book and go, you haven't seen him since you were 12 and doing karate. It's Nestle T-shirt man.
Imagine. I would be so impressed.
That would be so good.
My God.
So while Jay's answering the door, I'm going to ask you a question because I've got notes and everything. It's very few notes because this series of interviews that I'm doing is all with people that I've known for years. But the thing I've realised about all the people we've had mails together, we've done conventions together, endless hours of talking. The bit that none of us, I think, ever ask each other, because it's a lot of the time it's just taken as a given. I don't know how you became a tattooist or even how long you've been doing it. And I'm sure you've been asked this in interviews and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Right.
How long have you been a tattooist and how did you end up here?
So 30 years this year, in October this year, it'd be 30 years.
No way.
But I'm never one, I couldn't care less about those like markers. I never tell anyone it's been 10 years, 20 years, whatever. Just move on with your life, don't you? That's
do you not think sometimes it's better to go 6 months? And then if it's more impressive, oh my God, you're really good.
Definitely had that bit at the beginning where you pretend you've been doing it longer than you have.
Yeah, and then
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you want people to believe in you a little bit.
Believe in you a little bit more,
I mean, you have to think about this. I've not answered this question in a long time.
Yeah.
So when I was, let's say, 18, give or take, I used to work with a friend of mine, and we went and got a tattoo together. He already had tattoos. Another kid that we worked with had tattoos. I didn't really know anything about it. He wanted to get another one, so I was like, yeah, cool, let's go get one. He was telling me, you're going to love this. There's so many designs. You won't know what to pick from. Got there was probably like 40 or 50 crappy designs on the wall. Hated all of them, so I just picked the one that I hated the least.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is the guy just drew this thing on with a pen, and I'm like, wow, this is really clever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I couldn't draw a thing like that. So it intrigued me that this guy seemed like he could. I mean, he'd obviously done a design and tattooed it on 100 people before. I've actually done cover-ups of that tattoo.
No way.
Different people, yeah. But I didn't really like what the stuff was, the pictures they drew. It just looked a bit crap to me. It wasn't the kind of things. I was just drawing like portraits and like pencil drawings of like more realistic things at the time. Actually, I would just draw anything I liked. When I was into breakdancing, I'd draw breakdancers. If I was into something, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
So that was that for about 5 or 6 years. And then my sister got into tattooing, and she would buy the one tattoo magazine that you could buy every 2 months or whatever it was. And she'd try and show me this magazine and be like, I think she wanted me to enjoy this thing with her, but I didn't give a crap because my experience was not really something I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
And she just kept on and on showing me this stuff and trying to get me to draw pictures for her to get tattooed and whatever. And then one day I must have come across, I wonder who the first one was. Someone like Paul Booth or Jack Rudy or something like that. And I thought, oh, cool, this looks interesting. This looks like a thing I might be interested in.
Yeah, yeah.
Cut a long story short, I ended up buying some tattoo equipment from a local guy and practicing on my friends and having a go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we all start.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering, because I don't really do an intro on this show, this is my very good friend Jason Butcher. he won't tell you this because I can. Jason is my favourite black and grey artist in the UK.
Oh, wow.
In combination with his girlfriend or wife. His girlfriend, isn't it? Girlfriend, with his girlfriend, Leanne.
We decided to stay happy instead of...
Stay happy, yeah. You know, as a duo, they make some of the finest tattoos that have ever been produced in the history of tattooing. Wow. And individually as artists, I think they both shine as two of the finest exponents of the style that they do. When I got into this, you were already a pretty established artist.
What year would that be, roughly?
2010-ish.
Oh, God,
2008, 2010-ish.
I was well away by then.
Yeah, you were flying. But at the time, the thing that you were doing that really caught my eye was you were taking like a skull and like extending it to an entire limb and doing this huge overscale. So it was almost at the point that you scale a skull that far, it almost becomes a set of abstract shapes. Yeah. And I just remember, is that still running?
Yeah, still. We should come here to see if any of us know how to pick a lock. That's
the tattooist.
That's the tattooist.
It's a pretty good bet.
I actually can.
Can you?
Yeah. Lockdown. I got really, really bored. So I bought a lock picking kit and watched a load of videos and learned to pick locks. I just didn't want to buy an air fryer. I just got to buy something else. You know
that's
what I mean?
Everyone else made bread or bought an egg or whatever, but I want to know those fun.
I want to do that stuff, you know. Yeah. So as I was saying before we were interrupted, you have to excuse this. It is, you know, we are sitting in the studio. So Jason and Leanne are two of my favourite tattooists in the country. I can't really explain without it becoming embarrassing for them how much I rate their work.
We can give that.
We'll do that later. But like with most of these questions, or these interviews or chats, really, I don't really know much about Jason because we've just spent time together. So, you know, the story that you're hearing at the moment is me kind of catching up after 15 years of going, how did you get into it? You know, I was talking with Sam Ford about this the other week, and we were saying it's funny that I think we all get to a point where it's taken as a given that, well, you're here, so you must be okay at what you're doing. And there's certain stuff that you go, well, I don't really need to know that. I know you're a tattooist. I've seen you doing tattoos. I've seen that you're doing nice tattoos, whatever it is that you're doing. And so you forget to ask these questions
how did you get there?
What I'm finding is as I'm asking my friends about their history before I met them, I'm realising that a lot of my friends are quite a lot more awesome than I realised. You know, so I'm kind of using this to find out about my friends that I've known for 15 years and kind of ask funny questions.
You're right, no one asks those questions, do they?
No.
We just hang out and talk crap and...
Because we've all just finished work and we're having a drink or we're sitting having a coffee or having dinner and, you know, we don't want to talk about work after that. So we end up talking about the events of the world and the events of the day.
That's the best part about conventions, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the only bit I miss. Friends.
Yes.
The rest of it, I have zero interest in.
So what me and Karen have decided to start doing is we're going to start... You get
your friends to come here.
We get my friends to come here, but we're also going and visiting them.
Yeah.
Because what we realised was the problem with the convention is all that tattooing gets in the way of a really good meal and just a good hang with friends.
And it's kind of crap tattooing. It's bad lighting conditions, like everything.
You strike me as somebody very much like me when it comes to any form of compromising what you're doing. It's like anything that compromises the final output is to be eradicated.
Yes, absolutely.
So if I've got to sit on a suitcase for 5 hours with a head torch, unable to see, I'm going home and we'll do it there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's very much just for promotion reasons, I think, in the early days, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was super cool when I first started doing it. I couldn't wait to go work at conventions. I just thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Well, for me, it was learning from people like yourself. You know, those little conversations and being able to see you doing what you're doing up close while you're doing it and chatting. Right. Those little nuggets of wisdom, when you join them all together, that's much more about how I've learned to tattoo is from those little moments that I've had with all my friends where I go, how do you get that smooth? And then you give me, you know, something that's so obvious to you because you're so good at what you do. Yeah. And I go, oh, fuck, I never thought about that.
I remember a friend of mine texted me asking, how do you get such big areas of smooth shading? And I just thought, this is like 20 years of experience. Yeah. And you want me to sum it up in a text message? Because the truth is, you kind of go a bit like this and a bit like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, but my hand knows.
The hand knows how to do
do that stuff now. But I have made tiny little adjustments over many, many years to the point where I just know how to move my hand. Like I don't need to be paying much attention to that. I can let that hand
it'll just take care of
do what it does. Yeah.
It's kind of the sum of doing a bunch of things. Yep. The one that I remember is somebody walking past my booth at the point that I've finished the black pass. Because when I started tattooing, I wasn't sure how I was going to do a red and black tattoo. Right. Because, well, I can put all the black on, but then how do I avoid the bit that's got to be the red bit? Right. So I thought, and like I was saying to you earlier about the Marshall cabs that are here, we're all a product of what we know. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that I could think of was screen printing, which I know a bit about. And I'm like, if I was screen printing a T-shirt, I have a white screen and then a red screen. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, obviously, that's how I'll do it. I'll have a black stencil and then a red stencil. But obviously they're both purple. But one of them will be all the black information. Okay. I'll tattoo that on and then I'll put another stencil on top of it and I'll tattoo that red. Right. Now, to me, that seemed like a pretty obvious way of dealing with it. At this point, I'm like, well, I don't know if you're allowed to put two stencils on in a row. I love that. I'm like, I don't know. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. Sod it. And I can remember a guy walking past my booth at a convention as I was putting that on and putting the red section on. And he's actually facepalmed like that. It had never even occurred to him that you could do two stencils. And like you're saying, it's like, you're a sum of 20 years of learning print technology as a graphic designer, and I've just brought it into tattooing. It's like with the little brother printers and everything. I thought you lot all knew about them, and I just didn't know. And when I turned up at a convention with one for the first time, and David Corden walked past me, what the fuck
is that? Yeah,
is that?
He still uses that to this day, I think.
Yeah, I still use mine. Yeah, but because I thought, well, I don't want to have to keep freehanding this stuff with a biro because freehanding half-tone patterns is really hard. Yep. So but I don't want to print it and then put it through a thermofax because it's really bad quality. Yep. Is there such a thing as a printer? And so I literally Googled it and bought the first result. That was all I did. And that's it. And then all these years later, everybody's got these brother printers and different printers and goes, well, I don't know how it started. And it was like some daft graphic designer that just went, can I not just plug it into my computer and just print the stencil out? Do
you not think that's what happens? People come from elsewhere and they bring in a new thing and you go, where was that? Because it's all quite incestuous, isn't it, that industry? Everyone in it just learns off each other, copies each other, and it's only when new information comes from outside.
Well, as I've been researching that stuff, what I've realised is I don't think there's anything in our industry currently that was actually designed solely for the purpose of tattooing. Not. And so everything is a product of somebody coming in with a different set of skills and going, and
that's why it's so important for you to then try new things, because then you come back to tattooing with different perspectives, like learning how to pick locks and stuff like that. I don't know how that helps, but
true story. It helped me get Rich Harris into his suitcase because he'd managed to get onto a plane.
I thought you could say get him out of his suitcase. That'd be weird.
Can you imagine that if he posted himself there? Get me out, Paul. No, he got to the other side and he went, I forgot the lock for my suitcase. It's in my kitchen. And I went, I can get in there. And so I got him into his suitcase.
Nice. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would pick locks, though, does he?
I love Rich to bits, but he doesn't strike me as the kind of person who's got a background in lock picking, to be honest with you. He doesn't strike me as somebody.
Probably a good thing.
I will at some point get him on the show and ask him because if I had to go, who do you think of your group of friends who has not got a checkered background? Right. I'd be like, probably Rich. I'm not sure. I know he was a DJ though, so he might have some interest. Yeah, he might have some interesting stories.
He's one of my current favourite artist,
Saturation of colour is outrageous.
I think he's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, he's going some really, really cool places with it. He's taken that kind of initial idea and I think he's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're going some really cool places. What you're doing, like I'm seeing experiments in transparency. Yep. And, I think that's really interesting where you're going at the moment with that. I'm seeing these kind of layers that you're building and the double exposure stuff.
Well, the double exposure stuff is something that obviously I didn't come up with double exposure, but in tattooing I did. Yeah. But completely by accident. And isn't this how lots of things happen? Sorry, I talk with my hands a lot.
Yeah, that's fine. You can talk with your hands as much as you want.
I used to have a drawing table and I'm super messy. And I used to draw on tracing paper for a bit because it's just like, I don't know, it's quite cool and quite fun. Quick, fun. You can put it on white paper and have these lovely bright highlights and stuff like this. And so I'd have printouts and bits of drawings. And you know how things are like, sometimes like something just sat on top of this other picture and you're like, oh my God, that looks so
That's
cool.
cool. Yeah.
And then so that came from there. And then messing around with like photography by accident, took all these double exposure pictures and just thought there's like, I don't know, 50 pictures all came out wrong. And I thought, wow, that'd be so cool if I tattooed that like that.
Fucking tattoo it.
Tattooed it. And actually, I thought, my God, I've nailed it. This is the next big thing, like double exposure, you know? No one gave a crap. And you know, when you're just like, and normally, and I'll get to another point in a minute, but normally I'm really good at knowing stuff like that. When something's like amazing, I'm like, boy, I've hit the jackpot, or someone else has tried it again 6 months later. Oh my God, everyone loved it.
It blows up.
It was just the wrong
It's just timing.
And then I must have had 2 years of doing that when no one else copied it because they didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
So I had a good 2 years
like
of, Nowadays, everyone would figure that out the next day.
Yeah. And
they'd be doing it.
And it's almost like it's not annoying because people do it, because I think we all gift our artwork to tattooing.
I found it, so I should have time to play around with it. And
we should have an established grace period.
Yes, for sure.
Of like, this is my idea. Yeah. You can't, like, it's exclusively mine for 2 years, and then you can all, then tattooing can have it.
Yeah.
And I think that would be fair.
Because I will definitely be, not bored is the wrong word, but I'll be evolving it into something else.
Yeah. You're already moving on in 2 years. It's like,
but that's the problem, isn't it? Especially now with social media. Anything cool and new. Like I remember, and this isn't exactly the same thing. I was going to say they'll all be doing it the next day. Yeah. When Jeff Gogway tattooed my back.
Yeah.
Before it was even coloured in, someone else had copied it and coloured it in, and I'm like, what the hell?
I know, it's like rapid prototyping gone crazy. You know, it's like fast fashion.
And I don't think it's right. I think the people that found the thing should be the ones that get to play around with it and let it become what it's going to become before other people take it and kind of, I want to say ruin it, because some of those people take that stuff in interesting directions, but most of them, he did that thing and he put that next to that.
Yeah.
If I do that, no, but you don't understand. I was trying to make an emotion in a picture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And somehow that's what gives it extra life or gives it something more importance.
I mean, the guy that I find exciting, that I've been following for a little while, that I really like where they're going, I think has suffered from exactly the same thing, is I think Mash Cow. Might be a man, might be a woman. I'm not sure as I know.
Yeah.
But I saw those portraits, and it's like, it's just really interesting, that kind of culture clash of all this stuff that shouldn't really go together, but they're making this amazing thing. And I was fascinated. Almost like the next day, I've seen one of these things and I see 10 copies of it. Yeah. And I'm like, I agree with you that they should have had like a 2-year grace period to go, tattooing can have this in a couple of years. Let me play with it first. Yeah, I agree. Let me have it. There ought to be what we call it, sandbox period. It's my sandbox for 2 years, and then tattooing can have it. And I think that would, because I wonder if, like, for yourself, if everybody copies it too early and like takes it somewhere, and it's a bit like somebody stealing a song and sticking a fucking horrible chorus on it.
Exactly.
And you go, but it could have been so much better of a song if you hadn't stolen that riff off me. It's a bit like having that riff stolen and going, you didn't let me finish the symphony.
Yeah.
I was going to go all these other places.
And I guarantee you people do that in music as well. In every industry.
I mean, the history of like borrowed music is unbelievable, you know.
Borrowed.
Yeah. With Leanne's argument that everything can be art, where I agree is everybody can be an artist. You just have to have the soul for it and find it. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of digging then. Yeah. You know, you got to be prepared to make a lot of mistakes and be frustrated along the way. Any musician will tell you that you're not a musician on day one. Mm-hmm. What you're doing is making a fucking god-awful racket for years. And it's a bit like tattooing and art. You know, you're making, not the thing that you want to make for such a long time. And it's so soul-destroying when you try and then you think, this is the day I'm going to finally put a straight line in. Mm-hmm. And that frustration, it's the same thing with picking up a musical instrument.
So did you go through that then, where you just knew you had that in you, but you couldn't get it out yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I could see when I started tattooing, I can see the art. Mm-hmm. I can already see where I'm going to go. I could see this point of like, this is where the art will get me to. It's like with the music. When I picked up a guitar, I knew what the music would sound like. I just couldn't find it. And
that it's like reverse engineering it, isn't it? Like I'm figure out
reverse engineering what I can already hear
and
what I can already see. So when I sit down I don't think I can see it. I think I can feel it. That's the point. I'm feeling something. And when the thing on the screen... And then you've got to try and
describe it before you can make it, right? So that's pretty hard.
Like, I prefer not to even bother with that. I just like I'm very messy when I'm doing stuff like that. Okay. When I'm making music, it's really messy. I put everything there, like really quickly, throw it all together and just start molding things and pushing stuff. And like with the artwork, everything's on the screen. I just move shit around until, okay, the top left of that is working. Where's the bit that I want here now? And it's I guess maybe like sculpting, maybe something.
But isn't that why like using sort of like a digital process is so much more fun? Because then you'd have to draw that bigger. And you go, oh, no, it's a bit too big.
How many times have you wished you had Apple Z for your life?
Yeah.
So that brings me on to my next question, actually, is that the thing that I think we've got in common is that I think we both start with analog versions of what we do that then becomes a digital process as we favour digital stuff that we now convert back into an analog thing to tattooing. So I wanted to ask you about, did you start analog before digital? So drawing and painting?
Yeah, I just used to draw on people every day. I didn't even know how to make a stencil for probably 10 years.
No way.
I just didn't know how, so I just thought I'll just draw on people.
Yeah.
And that was my thing. I liked coming up with something in that moment, sort of forcing yourself to be creative and then just draw. I mean, geez, I've done freehand portraits, freehand everything. For 12 years, that's all I did. People come in and I just draw on them.
I started with biros myself. I knew you could make stencils, but I couldn't afford a stencil printer.
Right.
You know, so I was like, but I've got.
Well, I think I didn't want to be embarrassed by telling anyone I didn't know how to make a stencil.
Silly, isn't it?
I knew it existed. Yeah. Well, and then I kind of got, I got a bit pissed off in that other people were doing stuff and it wasn't as creative or wasn't as real as I would call it, and getting way more credit. And so I almost got pissed off and thought, sod this, I'm going to just start finding images that already exist, putting them together like a loser. Do you know what I mean? Like someone who's not a real artist because they don't draw things.
Yeah.
And immediately started playing around with Photoshop and was like, oh my God, this just took my stuff to another level. Because I think in my mind, I'm kind of one of them, like, you have to draw.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be analog, it has to be whatever. I guess applying silly rules to your art. As soon as I
think we do it all the time. Yeah.
I mean, I forced myself, or I made a deal with myself that I'll still make the design, but I'll leave some space in case I'm feeling good on the day.
Yeah.
And also, I think the other way of just drawing on people wasn't always successful.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't always find myself in that space. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So some days it worked better than others, and it wasn't a high enough percentage success rate for what I wanted. Yeah, and then messing around with digital stuff was like game changing almost.
So what I tend to do, similar to that, I make all of my artwork A4 in the middle of a page.
Right.
And I worry about how it's going to fit on the day.
Yeah, I do that too.
I just I'm going, there it is, that's the artwork. Yeah. Wherever you pick to get it, I'll figure it out and I might have to move some shit around.
That's where Leanne gets a bit upset sometimes with me with collaborations when we've made a design and then I'll stray from that a little bit. And I think, well, you're Leanne, you'll figure it out. you'll make something look good there. But she's frightened to do that.
Right.
And she's learning. And I think I'm almost pushing her like that because I know she can do it.
Yeah, of course she can.
And of course she can. She's Leanne Mole.
Yeah, she's fine.
Like I've had days like that where people turn up and I'm terrified. And I'm thinking, God, I don't know if I can do this or whatever. But they're thinking, I'm getting tattooed by Jason Butcher. He can do anything. So I just think, cool, I'll let Jason Butcher do it.
Yeah, let Jason.
Like he can fix. he can do what. Yeah, do you know what I mean? He can do anything. So I trust him that much that I don't stress about any of it. And I'm trying to secretly make Leanne be that way a little bit too.
Yeah, let it go that way. It's nice to be loose though, because tattooing does tighten us up, doesn't it, as artists?
Yeah, for sure.
Because the end result is one go sort of thing. And you know, obviously when you've been doing it for a little while, you realise we've got a little more wriggle room than we realised when we first start tattooing. Yeah, there is a little bit, we can move stuff around within reason. But I think we naturally tighten up during a period of that.
Well, because it's on a person and it's so much worse consequences if you get it wrong, right?
But you can't get it wrong, can you?
Yeah, so that tightens you up for a start, doesn't it? Delivering on the promise. So I probably shouldn't say that because sometimes I get way looser than a person should get, but I probably shouldn't say that. No, like I trust myself stupidly.
Yeah.
But it's always worked, so.
No, I think I do the same. I think I've got faith in Paul You know,
he'll fix it. He'll figure out a way to make it look good.
It'll be fine. Yeah, that'll be okay. We'll figure that out.
He enjoys that as well.
Yeah, he likes that. No, he likes getting to the end and going, oh, I've saved that one.
Yeah.
You know?
But I don't like, sometimes I'll get a design, I'll have a fully formed idea.
Yeah.
Then I find that quite boring because the idea is spectacular to me. But now I've got to make it, and that's boring. I've already had the idea. I've already had the payoff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like not knowing what's going to come out at the end of the process. I like just playing around with stuff and going, oh, that's what you are, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like I guess sculpting where they say you take the stuff away and reveal what was
reveal,
that kind of, you know what
reveal what was already there.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's what we are today, is it? Yeah, it feels like that.
Do you find your techniques move around though, and what you do for that? Because I think creative people I think what I've noticed with creative people is we hack our environment a lot of the time. So sometimes we'll make our environment really quiet, and sometimes we'll make our environment really noisy, and sometimes our techniques don't evolve; they change for a little while because we're just feeling it that way. Like, so an example: I fell right out of love with mags for about 3 months. Just didn't like them anymore. I just used round shaders for about 3 months. They just really worked well for me. And I've kind of, over the last few days, I'm like, oh, I like mags again now. I didn't like these for a while. I've no idea why that happened. You know, it wasn't that I couldn't use them. I just didn't enjoy it. So I'm like, I'm not going to use them. I'm getting a better result with these other needles that I hardly ever use.
See, that's funny, isn't it? Because obviously you could justify that. You're getting a better result. I don't care. If I don't enjoy that, I'll just stop using it, even if the other one isn't giving me a better result. Very much emotional about those decisions. If I don't like something, it's like, I'm just not doing that.
I'm just not doing it. Yeah. And that's it.
So I've always been like it since a kid. And I thought I was just so immature. I cannot do anything unless I love it. I can't. Like when you're saying about when you did that crappy job and you're like, I can't do this.
I can't do it.
Now, I'm like you. I can't do that. Where other people can't do it, but they still do it.
Yeah.
Where I can't, and I'm so dramatic, I'd rather die than do that. Do you know what I mean? That's how it feels to me.
Well, I think that's all that's happening is I'm thinking, because Karen is stood just there, you can't see her.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I know exactly what Karen's thinking is. The example she would give you is try and get Paul to fill in any kind of form. It can be anything from like a really important government form to just checking in at a hotel. And I go, oh, Karen, do it for me.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I hate it. Like, I genuinely fucking hate forms, right? So, if it came to it, I would give Karen half of my wages if I had to to just fill the forms in. I'm like, it's worth it to me. Yeah. Honestly, it's worth it. I'm like, fuck it, just give Karen half the money. I don't want to do it.
So I
can't
actually think what you're describing, I think that's actually quite sophisticated.
Yeah.
What's the word for it? You're in touch with your feelings and your intuitions and your whatever. And all that stuff that you just described, filling in forms, to me is the gross stuff that's trying to stop you doing that. Do you know what I mean? These are the things that help you be creative. And that's who I am. So anything that stops that, I don't want to do it.
Get it out of the way.
And I know what all of it is because it feels gross when I do it.
Yeah, so I just don't do it.
So I just don't do it. Yeah, simple as that. And it's actually my mission in life to do as little of that stuff as possible.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like you said to me earlier, you want to get to the end of life without ever opening Excel.
Exactly, that's my dream.
Good for you.
That's my dream.
Good for you. So, you know, one of mine is I want to get to a point in my life where I no longer need a phone. That's when I was reading a thing. I think it was about the ex-bass player from Metallica, Jason Newsted, and there was some talk of him joining Megadeth as the bass player. And his wife had to go onto social media to say, all of these accounts are not actually Jason. My husband doesn't have a phone.
Nice.
That's when you've arrived as a human being. If you can get through this life without needing a mobile phone. So that then has become my goal now, is to get to the point where I don't need one.
There's so much of that. Like, I bet my mom has never known who the Prime Minister is or who the President of America is.
Brilliant.
76 years old.
Brilliant.
Great
Perfect.
Life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of my side missions, to do as much of that as possible.
Yeah, just don't get involved.
Only do what's exactly necessary and not one bit more.
Yeah, that's it.
To still have not get involved with as much as possible.
Do you not think that's the safest way of navigating life, though?
I just think it's the best way, isn't it? It's the least exhausting. It's the least everything. I know silly examples, but like, you know, grass grows without you getting interfering with it. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things just happen without you giving a crap.
Yeah.
You think you're so important that you need to Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to get involved with it, and that you'll somehow make a difference.
So I'm
like no one
trying to
cares about
stay
mine.
out of almost everything.
Yeah, just stay away from all of that stuff. I think it's a much safer, good advice for life. I think that
Isn't
is.
it?
So you mentioned something earlier about you got into digital art, like a loser, because it's not real art. So obviously, my next question is: are you, like a loser, going to get involved in AI? They're not even trying to draw now; they're just typing words and pictures appear.
I don't mind it, but I haven't tried it.
So you've not messed about with it or seen if it can do anything?
No, because I'm still analog enough that I like to collect my own things, photograph them, which makes my art mine.
Yeah, of course.
Like. Do you know what I mean? Like all the skulls I use are my skulls.
Yeah.
We grow roses. We grow. Do you know what I mean? We all the things as much as possible. Not some of the girls' faces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if I could, I would photograph. Or when I can, I photograph.
Have you seen the stuff that Matt Jordan does?
Yeah, exactly that. Like that.
That's amazing to me.
Incredible. Yeah.
You know,
but how funny we've gone so far the other way. That's the most analog thing I've ever seen. But now we think that's super cool and original. Yeah, right?
but that's how it would have been done in the Renaissance. Like, can you all stand there and I'm going to draw
that's exactly how it would have been done. Yeah.
And then I'll use that as the reference.
We went to Rembrandt's house years ago, and he's got all that. He's got just stuff everywhere that he used for reference. I'm like, so then I just thought, cool, I'll just be like Rembrandt. I just buy a load of stuff that
what
I
I
use
thought
in my
was
art.
amazing. I was walking. We were in Rome last year. We went to the Vatican Museum to look. It's a fantastic collection of art in the Vatican. And the artist, I can't remember which artist. I think it might have been Caravaggio, but I'm not certain. In order to make the painting, he'd done a sculpture of all the figures, like that big, so that you can turn it around and work out where the shadows would fall on the clothing for the painting. So he's made his own 3D render out of stone. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fuck, that's some commitment to the process.
But you know, late 90s, early 2000s, that's what Guy Aitchison used to do in tattooing. Yeah. Build 3D models, light them, photograph them, and then,
But Guy's, he's like a visionary, to be honest with you. I mean,
absolutely.
I tell people all the time, if you can get hold of it, I think it's a website now. I tell them, like, the most I've learned about tattooing, the most important stuff was the first chapter of Reinventing the Tattoo.
Yeah.
It's like everything you need to know is in chapter 1.
Well, so do you know what? It's funny, isn't it? You talk about that brilliant, brilliant book. I agree. When I first read that, most of it was that thing where you read something and you go, cool, I'm already doing all of that.
Yeah.
So it
makes
you think like, I mean, this guy was like telling you what music to listen to when you're tattooing and stuff. Like he really thought of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And then over the years, and I thought it was a spectacular book. And over the years, I'd be looking at everyone's tattoos, magazines and stuff. Yeah. And I realised everyone's read that book because it all just started to look bland and the same to me. So I just figured out, I'll just do the opposite of his rules. And holy shit, it works. It's so popular. Because everyone had accidentally followed his brilliant rules.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the flow, everything has to have this S shape and whatever. Like, why can't it look awkward as well?
Well, I was talking to somebody about this the other day.
Why does everything flow and look right on your body? What if I want it to look off a little bit?
Yeah. So I followed 2 rules loosely based on, because I
off
read
and
that off and on. But I based it in because what I do is really simple in that respect. It's like I take if you took a Japanese sleeve and you take the major object out. So imagine a Japanese sleeve, a snake and flowers. Mm-hmm. Take the major object off and think about the flowers. That's where I put my major objects. Yep. So where the secondary object would be, that's where I put the major objects. And I follow 2 loose rules. 1, Japanese artwork flows. Yep. Polynesian artwork does not. Yeah. So Polynesian artwork is drawing armour on the human body and trying to create fake straight lines where a straight line can't possibly exist. So when I put straight lines on the body, I'm just copying Polynesian artwork or what I consider to be Polynesian. Yeah. And when I'm putting flowing things on, I'm just copying what I consider to be Japanese artwork.
And then it's wherever you want the balance to be.
It's just the end result looks fuck all like either of those things.
Yeah, but I would say the same. I would say especially our collaborations are hugely inspired by Japanese work. No one would know that because I don't use Japanese imagery, but similar the way they flow, or they use coloured images and black and white.
Well, it's because the skeleton of the idea
is perfect.
Is perfect for that, and that's why it still works because human bodies aren't radically different than they would have been back then. Yeah. They're still pretty much put together the same way.
When people just see Japanese work, think it's great, so then they just draw Japanese artwork. Yeah. No, you can be inspired by that and use these brilliant rules, I guess you'd call them.
It's looking at the underlying skeleton and not looking at the end result. Look at the underlying skeleton of things and, I look at that stuff and go, okay, where is the form? And then I'll just copy the form. Like I've got loads of stuff on my computer where I've just taken Japanese art, drawn grids over the top of it and gone, that's the form. Then I can just drop that form onto something.
So that's because you can see it that way, right? You can see the shapes of the skeleton of it.
Yeah, but I think that, that's because I guess I was taught to look at art that way because, I learned graphic design in that respect. Graphic design is very gridded at times. But I think we need to bring a little bit of that to tattooing. And I think people like Guy were bringing that kind of conversation that then became, I think we've become, I guess with so much more access to the learning, it's all about just doing the tattoo bit and not what music do you listen to in the studio, because you might think that's silly, but it's not silly at all.
It's way more important.
Exactly.
It's way more important. It sounds stupid, doesn't it? But you'll figure out what machine, or what volts to run it at and what needle. That's super unimportant, that side of it. You'll just get that by practice. The other bit, like when I've had apprentices, I just like talking to them and making them think, having stupid conversations, whatever. I just want them
look
to
at it differently.
Think differently about everything.
But I don't see anybody putting on seminars on how to think differently about tattooing and how to approach tattooing.
If I could, that's what I want. That's what I would like to do. Because I think
we'll talk about that then, because I might be putting some stuff on like that.
Okay, cool. Because
stay tuned.
Everyone teaches technique, and I have no interest in teaching technique because I just think you'll figure it out. Get a good machine, get some good decent needles, and you'll figure it out.
It'll be okay.
How hard is it to try all the variables?
Yeah.
Try the different speeds, move your hand a bit different. Like there aren't that many variables.
Would the guys, because like these guys that are watching this are learning and teaching themselves to tattoo, how many of them would ignore a seminar that was about the importance of music in your studio, the importance of the vibe, the importance of the moment the client walks in and how they're treated and how that process goes from the very beginning to the very end of the tattoo, regardless of what needles you use or what voltage you use your machine on. Yeah. The rest of the process, all the bit that nobody is teaching. Top 5 tips on how to be an awesome tattooist. Yeah. It's none of that. No. It's like, there are 2 fucking human beings involved in this process. So be a human being with that person, right? They're putting a lot of faith in you. Like, treat them well. But
they don't even know they need that, but they need that too.
No, they do need, exactly.
Right? They don't know it.
It's our responsibility to make that a thing.
That's one of the huge reasons why we're leaving our studio soon, and we built a studio at our house, because we want to concentrate on that vibe, if that's what you want to call it. That's so important.
That's my job title here.
What's that?
Minister of Vibe.
There you go.
That's what
it's all about.
I'm the Minister of Vibe. That's why we decorate so much, because I go, no, this doesn't. Yeah. No, I can't roll.
Well, our studio doesn't fit that vibe anymore. It doesn't have that.
So that brings me on to my next question. Is this private studio going to be at your house or in a separate place? So
at our house, in our meadow.
So you're building a structure.
Yeah, we've built it pretty much. It's almost done. Yeah. We moved out in October.
Send me some pictures of it.
Yeah.
So I can put it up there for people to see it.
Yeah.
Run out of rooms, you run out of vibe at the place where you were. It wasn't fitting where you were.
Everything. I think I've got I would guess probably a 10-year attention span in any space. My first studio I had for 10 years. I was sick of this one. We've been there 15 now, but I've been planning this for the last 5 years. Yeah. And then, of course, lockdown happens and stuff like that. So, yeah. It's just don't enjoy it there anymore in the same way.
That's what you're doing is kind of my dream scenario that we've talked about a few times. I want to, if I ever got to the point that I can, I want to buy a farm in the East Midlands, and I want to get to a situation where you come to the farm, the tattoo studio is in one of the 8 buildings. You arrive the night before, you have dinner with us, crash at the studio, get tattooed for however many days you're going to get tattooed for, and then you leave. But you eat with us. Your own pad. You can watch, like when we're done, you can go watch your own TV.
Well, we've got like a little area where people can sleep. They can stay over.
Man, I'm so jealous. It's going to be like that. It's going to be absolutely. I'm going to come and get tattooed there. Then I'll wait till you move.
It's really funny because when we try and tell this to our clients, Leanne's customers love it. She's really got these brilliant customers that are so much like her. She loves her garden. It's very kind of earthy. Back to nature kind of. All of her customers are like this in one way or another. They're brilliant and they love it. We've got chickens and we're getting goats and all this, the sea is just outside our back garden. It's incredible, And they love all this. They can't wait. I tell guys and they go, is it far? I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Yeah. I tell them free parking and they go, oh, cool.
Oh, great, yeah. You got free parking.
And I have to believe that they don't know they need this in their life, but it'll help them.
I think that's our job a lot of the time. Is like you don't know that you need that experience, but
well, because I'm trying to influence your vibe in a way that you don't know it's being influenced, right?
There you go.
I think that's more important than anything you say to people or whatever.
I think the time that you spend with clients is the big part of it. I think, like I've said this, I think I've said this before in interviews, is that I think some of my clients come back not even for the artwork. I think they actually come back because the time, the artwork is just a bonus of the time spent hanging out.
I think I've got loads of clients, so I think I've got way more art than they even really want because they like coming hanging out. And I almost feel a bit bad. Probably.
So I want to come back to the AI thing.
Yeah.
So you're not against it.
No.
So you don't think it's,
it's
theft
not.
And you don't think it's not real art. I mean, is it real art if I type in picture of a bunny rabbit and it produces a piece of artwork? Is that?
Yeah, it's a kind of art, isn't it? It's a type or style of art.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's got to be, hasn't it?
I don't know. People think abstract isn't real art. A lot of people I talk to don't enjoy that.
I know there's lots of people that think what I do isn't real art and will never have their minds changed.
How many people have you had the conversation with when they go to a gallery and they're like, that's not real art. I could do that. They just painted a stripe of paint on a painting. I love that because that means art just won, that you had a spectacular feeling about that. That's what art's job is, to make you have a feeling, right?
It's supposed to elicit a response.
Supposed to do something, right? So therefore AI probably is real art because it does that, right?
Because some people think it's absolutely brilliant, some people think it's really, really annoying.
But what is real art anyway? Is it just some kind of
commentary what is it?
It's life in some
It's a commentary on something, Yeah. So I'd argue that maybe it can't comment, but if the human can put the human part in, maybe the human can comment and via that
and isn't it a comment on humans becoming machine or,
something like that,
synthesizing with that somehow? It's another level of that, isn't it?
I think
like we said, where you use Photoshop or Procreate, isn't that just the next level of you and the machine?
If this is the age of enlightenment or the age of technology or something, then we're going to get to the point where the technology will top out. And like I was saying to you earlier, if technologists who are currently commenting on where things are with this are to be believed, and I don't know nearly enough about the subject to talk about it really, but if they're to be believed, then we're already at the top of that anyway, and it's not going to go much further. So I think if it's going to produce is this quite generic vanilla stuff,
then you can keep it.
I also think that we'll be the early adopters of stick it, mate. I'm all good with this, because I think you and I are both more predisposed to, I'm all good with the mess that I make and making art the slow way. That's fine. The slow process I'm quite happy with. But I think that
and your people like that.
Everyone else will pick up on that eventually.
Yeah.
I think we might see a world where all the most popular tattoos are all AI generated for about 2 years. Everybody gets absolutely sick of it and then goes, why don't we just let the humans design it again?
Yeah, and I don't feel threatened by that at all. I think I'm always going to be okay. It's true though. But I want my art to look like me.
Well, the same here. It's supposed to be imperfect. I mean, it's because I'm imperfect, and that's fine. Like all of my favourite music is incredibly imperfect.
Well, and when I say that it has to be real, I mean it has to look like me. Like I know I say stupid things sometimes, but I've made some abstract art, and I'm like, wow, I think that looks like me if I didn't have a body.
There you go.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You put yourself into it, and if you could stand back at it and go, I love that. It just feels right. It just feels right. It just feels like the right thing. It's like, the story I was telling you about the 15-year hunt for the guitar. It's like, I can't tell you why those two bits of wood when they're bolted together are the one, but they are. I had to bolt a lot of bits of wood together before I went, oh yeah, there you go. That's it. It feels like me when it's in my hand.
And that's your job, isn't it? To find that exact fit every time.
Yeah, just find that fit.
Do you know what? I like it even more if I just make artwork and then if it resonates with you, you pick that. Well,
that's what I've been doing this year.
That's what I actually prefer the most.
Yeah, I prefer that.
So if any of my tattoos are amazing, all the amazing ones happen that way.
Yeah.
They never happen. It sounds horrible, doesn't it? But if you have almost any input in it, it's not.
It's just going to get worse.
It's going to take it a little bit away from you.
you're not going to like it as much.
Yeah.
So
it just has to resonate. I make something, and if it feels like that's you, then we'll do that on you.
In the early days of tattooing, I think the way tattooing worked was really good. You went into a place where there was all this artwork that had been designed. It's been put up on the walls, and you get to pick from one that you see that you like the look of. And all that you and I are doing is making the artwork much more extensive. You know, that would have been a quite straightforward line drawing with, you know, some black shading.
Yeah, and we're not repeating it on.
And we're not repeating
Well, actually,
you know.
Saying that, I haven't done loads of it yet, but sometimes I like taking my old tattoos and putting that somehow in a...
Well, what I've been doing is I offer a limited edition stuff. So I agree to do 5 of them or 10 of them, or I'll do 1 of them. And then I've got some stuff that I never post on the internet. I'm like, because some people, they want no one to ever see it. They want to be the only person. I'm like, that's great. And so I'm like, look, I'll never post the artwork or the finished tattoo on the internet, but obviously that's going to cost you a little bit more money, you know? And so I've turned it into, I kind of sell flash, but I sell it differently. But I think it was a much better transaction where you could go, right, what's Paul got for me? Okay, there are these 40, but instead of going, I'm picking from Google of things that might not even be very good as tattoos, I can pick from 40 things that Paul guarantees he can tattoo really, really well. Yeah. And are all going to look good, like the shit on his Instagram. Yeah. And I just think it's a much better transaction.
And there are some things that you can tattoo well and some that you can't, right? Yeah. Or you can draw well and you can't draw well. I mean, as much as you want to.
The stuff that
probably just not your thing, is it?
No, the stuff that I put out as prints is stuff that I look at and go, yeah, I don't fancy tattooing that. Like when I was talking to Sam Ford the other week, I was saying, I don't like skulls, right? And when somebody asked me for a skull, I'm like, phone Jason Butcher. He's really good at them. Like, let Jason do the skulls. He loves it. And I'm like, I leave that to you.
Love isn't even a strong enough word.
It's not, but you know what I mean? I'm a big believer, and I do the Paul stuff. If you want a really good skull,
that's right.
Like Jason's wicked, let him do it. He's the skull guy.
Some things I try, and I really want to be the guy at that, but I'm just not.
No,
I can just tell.
I've even said to some
of
my
clients,
that
guitar thing. It doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Somehow, like, oh damn it, I wish it did. But
I've even said to some of my clients, like, if you want a skull, phone Jason, tell him that you can do a skull. And tell him, if you really want me to get involved, tell him I'll do it with you. And we'll just do one between us. And so if you really want a skull, I'm not your guy, but I know the guy, and I'm pretty sure he'll let me scribble on the skull once he's finished it.
Put a skull there, and then come back to me, and we'll. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's a much better way of doing it. Like, you know, let the plumbers do the plumbing.
Well, that's what I do with colour stuff now. I haven't done colour tattoos in years. Well, because Leanne works right next to me. She can do that.
Why bother?
But I actually had an idea at one point when we had loads of people in our studio that you could just come in and this person does that part, this person does it. Like, why does it always have to be one person?
One guy
does the whole.
I don't, I don't see it that way. I'm like, I had this the other day. I was at David's doing a guest spot, and one of his clients contacted us and said, "Would you and David consider doing it?" I'm like, I don't even have to consider it. I mean,
yeah, of course,
like, because I know what David does, and I'm pretty certain I can, me and David can work something out, and I don't even see that we have to even do that whole collab thing and be in the room at the same time. It's like, we live in a digital world, right?
Me and Leanne, we never work together at the same time. We just layer it up, separate sessions. Yeah.
So go see Jason, come see me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll send him the pictures. You might need to go see him again. And, and then it ends up being like that when when Warhol and Basquiat were collaborating. Warhol got really angry with him because Basquiat kept painting over Warhol's stuff. So he kept painting it back on.
I like it.
That's really funny.
But that's what I think. I think it has to go back and forth a couple of times.
Yeah, why not?
For you to go back over stuff and then you go back over.
Why not?
Yeah.
Just build it up. I mean, it just comes down to whether the client has got the patience and the time and is committed. But it's like, if you commit into that kind of process, you have to know that you're dealing with 2 artists. So it's probably going to be twice as problematic.
Yeah, and I try and explain that part of the process as well. Like, I know I could do this quicker and easier, but I'm not willing to.
No.
So now's your time to say you don't want in on this process.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't.
I want this to be the best I can. I feel like if I've got enough time, I can make anything pretty much perfect.
Exactly. Just give us enough time to do it.
Give me enough time.
If you make that clear from the outset, that this is the way this process is going to be. I mean, I always give, like, I call it the bail point. I always give all of my clients the options to bail. It's like, look, this is maybe going to be more than you want it to be. So maybe I'm not the guy for it. Maybe you kind of wanted something completely different and you misunderstood what it is. maybe I'm a little bit more like tattoo is written in lowercase and artist is written in uppercase. Maybe it's a bit too much like that for you. Yeah. Maybe you wanted tattoo written in uppercase and artist written in lowercase.
That's a great way to describe it.
You know, there's no harm, no foul in that.
But because I'm so that in uppercase, it doesn't matter to me if you say none.
No, it's
but
fine.
I would rather die than do it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, again, because we get back to
I'm
that
dramatic
thing of
about it. Like,
that for me.
It's so important to me that's how I want to do it.
Well, it matters, but it's got to matter because there's no point doing it if it doesn't, because it just becomes a fucking job, and I don't want a job. It's one of the many things I don't want to do.
I always tell people jobs are for losers.
Yeah, jobs are for losers. I don't like it.
No, I don't want a job. A job is different to a passion, isn't it?
I mean, the passion is the thing that. After, I think I'm 15 years in or thereabouts at the minute, and I still get here every morning, like just as stoked to do tattoos and get stuck in. And exactly the same as when I sit down with my guitar to make some music. After all these years, I'm still just as fascinated with it because it's not my job, it's my passion. I love that thing. Yeah. I love that thing that I'm doing. And I just think it's good fun. You know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This was my really good friend, Jason Butcher. You should check out his work. His Instagram will be below. And hit him up. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That was brilliant.